Roots of causality. All of the collected information, evidence, photographs, CCTV video, eyewitness testimony is in service to finding the cause of the accidents. Notice that I say cause and not causes. Often, investigators can rush to judgment and list a whole host of causes that seem accurate and viable. As an example, if a person falls down a set of steps in a parking lot, the causes could certainly be the stairs are ice covered, the person was wearing flat-bottom shoes, the railing was broken, and it was dark in that portion of the parking lot at the time. But these are symptoms of the actual cause or the root cause. CollinsDictionary.com defines root cause as the fundamental reason for the occurrence of a problem. In accident investigations, this is the actionable result of the investigative process if the goal is to reduce or eliminate the potential for a similar accident to happen again. Remember, the goal for health and safety professionals is that 0% accident rate. There are many tools that help investigators find a root cause. One of the most effective and often cited is the 5 why method. This video won't go into the origins of the method, and it does have broad usage across many other disciplines. In fact, it came from the auto industry. That's my only little bit of history that I'll give on it, just to not make this video 3 hours long. But it's highly effective for health and safety professionals in getting to what actually caused accidents and helps create very effective corrective actions in the final report. Let's take the established example of the person falling down the steps. The initial answers to the question why remain the same at the surface. The stairs were ice covered, the person was wearing flat-bottom shoes, the railing was broken, and it was dark in that portion of the parking lot at the time. But for each of these answers to the question why at the surface level, there is a second why that can be asked. The stairs were ice covered. Why? Because staff had not yet applied ice melt after a storm. The person was wearing flat-bottom shoes. Why? There was a VIP event that day and the individual was wearing dress shoes. The railing was broken. Why? The railing was snapped at a rusted out weld. It was dark in that portion of the lot at the time. Why? Parking lot timers had not yet been reset for daylight savings time. Some of the answers to this level result in dead ends. For instance, why was the individual in dress shoes? Very simple, because of the presentation that morning. Others generate further why questions that need answers, and some may even begin to converge on a single answer that encompasses more than one question. The stairs were ice covered. Why? Because staff had not yet applied ice melt. Why? 3 of the 10 maintenance positions in this particular location are unfilled. The railing was broken. Why? The weld had rusted and snapped. Why? 3 out of the 10 maintenance positions are not yet filled. The parking lot lights had not yet been reset. Why? 3 of the 10 maintenance positions are not yet filled. In this simple example, you can see how the answers to the questions why as we move down the levels of questioning are starting to converge on one single answer that may be our root cause. It can be fairly easy to stop right here now that we've had multiple answered why questions that end up pointing to the same cause. But we're going to go a step further and find the root cause. Why was the lack of 3 positions out of 10 in maintenance not being filled lead to these conditions? The 7 remaining staff were forced to cover the workload of 10, and priorities had to be placed on projects and issues based on need. So what is our root cause? A shortage of workers in maintenance led to the conditions that ultimately resulted in the employee falling down the stairs that morning. There are certainly other why questions that we can continue to answer based on this result, but for the purposes of a root cause analysis and the investigative process and the report that's going to be generated from this and the action items that are going to come out of this, this is right where we want to be for our root cause. Now consider your 5 whys might end up being 2, might be 1, might be 10, might be 15. It really depends on the complexity of the incident and the type of information that you have and the circumstances surrounding it. So the 5 whys is really a title, so don't get caught too much up in that verbiage. But the process is meant to ensure that the investigative process and the investigator is looking as deep as is appropriate and necessary to really find the point where the problem started that caused that incident. Without that determination, you're putting band-aids on symptoms of an underlying problem that has not yet been identified and cannot be solved. And if we don't identify that problem, there's no way to prescribe solutions to ensure that a similar incident or that the issue doesn't crop up again in the future. And that is the whole purpose in investigating incidents in such a regimented fashion.